you, I think, may know, or those who are already in college, at least a semester. So those who joined probably, I may be little new. So I'm Ramakrishna Gorti. I am associate professor and head electrical department, heading electrical department currently. I did my master's from IISc in computer vision. And PhD in IIT Madras, also in computer vision, like adaptive signal processing methods, applying them in computer vision and image processing. And I worked briefly in GE, India Technical Center, Bangalore. I was there for 1.5 years or so in France for postdoc, and before joining IIT Tirupati, I was faculty at Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, Trivandrum. I was there for about 5.5 to 6 years. So I have been teaching machine learning almost for 8 years or 10 years since now. And I might have taught almost more than 10 times or 15 times. So in fact, at IIST, since I was only the faculty who used to teach this pattern recognition and machine learning, so I used to teach for all, almost for say electrical branch, you can say, or earth science branch, where like engineering physics kind of branch, where they wanted to apply these concepts there and so on. So, and the course usually I teach is the basic course I teach is machine learning, pattern recognition mainly, and machine learning. So pattern recognition and machine learning is a basic course name. I will tell over the slides what is the difference between these phrases, which look almost similar, but they're slightly different. Pattern recognition, machine learning, image processing, computer vision, deep learning, and so on. Okay, even artificial intelligence for that matter. And so I will try to give a little bit of distinction between them just to understand what specifically they mean under some commonness that they have. And the basic course was, it was evolved quite effectively because of, thanks to students as well, and the necessity for me to teach regularly. So the basic course, which usually I teach, has good number of problems as well. Usually this machine learning can be taught in several ways. Say one way is purely go by the mathematical aspects. So keep on deriving the things and then trying to make finally some inference or conclusion. Or purely on a programming aspect, give the details what to do and do it through programming and get the things done on some data sets. Or it can also be done as a as a little bit of practical aspect, where the most of feature engineering kind of things are more important. That means when we have the raw data, how do we process them and get into the some kind of this learning jobs or recognition jobs done. What usually I prefer is a blend of these things. And the image processing course and computer vision course, so they also have their different classical ways of doing. So I usually, in the earlier years, before say a couple of years, image processing was a separate course, machine learning was a separate course, pattern recognition, machine learning roughly can be same, but they can also be separate. And then the computer vision is a separate course. Because of the like necessity now that I may not have time to teach in 2 semesters this course. So this is made a compact course for making the effective understanding of the machine learning concepts to deep learning concepts and applying to image processing to computer vision. So in a way, you can consider that this is a packaged course. So there is no as such a regular course content or a book for this. So you can refer a couple of books and couple of video lectures, which some of the people are familiar or will be familiar. So they all encompass some parts or the aspects of the course I'm teaching. And there are some aspects of this course which are probably not there in any of these courses. So I may come up with my own problems. So those problems I will put on you, and I will probably ask you to solve as well. Okay, so some may be of that sort, and some maybe say I may borrow or leverage from the existing courses. So I may refer to now and sometimes some courses, deep learning course by Professor Fifi Lee team, some machine learning aspects of Andrew Ng, and some other courses like basic textbooks, which are very good and which usually I used to follow. This is a blend of these things. So this is one aspect of this course, which is in some sense different from the existing either Coursera courses or existing courses that are available in machine learning, or the courses that are taught even here or elsewhere. The other aspect is the main purpose, what I would say if you are doing this course, is learning the aspect, learning the concept thoroughly, and getting familiarity with the hands-on experience. Since as a part of this course, anyway, I will be giving a couple of programming assignments or written assignments, because I don't want to put the theory aside and then move on to the direct practical like implementation aspects. At the same time, I don't want to just completely move on to the theory. So bring in some theoretical aspects to give a foundation, to make a very good understanding of what you are doing. And then the practical aspects, the programming and all are very important to make the things happen in large scale. So that is also being included, or it's like it is necessary. So that is one aspect. Another aspect. So other than it's a blend of machine learning and image processing computer vision courses. So where, because of to tailor made mainly to make you people or the students here to do the kind of projects that they want to do. So this package is done to make sure that you are ready to fire, are ready to get started onto a state-of-the-art deep learning projects or computer vision projects kind of thing. So this, in some sense, you can consider it's a necessity to make the you people ready if you take up some related projects. Okay, also you can take up, even if you don't take up readily now, you can, even if you want to do tomorrow somewhere, either in job or elsewhere yourself, you should be ready to get started on it. So that get started also will be here, but the subsequently you can follow it up. That's the one aim of the course. Second aim, as I said, it's a theory and both practical aspects, both should go together in some sense. And I may stress on theoretical aspects, but nevertheless, you will be stressing on the practical aspects, because I will be giving the programming assignments and etc. So where you need to get wet yourself with the with those aspects as well to make the things happen or get started on this. So which usually may or may not happen if you just audit some of the courses. So this is very important aspect that you should leverage from the course. If you don't do any programming, I think it's good enough to listen to some existing the video lectures on machine learning. There are plenty of video lectures and courses now. So that is good enough. Okay, so no need to specifically credit this course as such. Okay. So to understand the course, what you need is thorough mathematical background in little bit of linear algebraic methods, and as well as say probability and random variables, also on differential calculus kind of things. So I will be introducing the math that is necessary for this course. But however, I would suggest that whenever I discuss, I may discuss in only a couple of classes. Say for example, after the introductory discussion on this course, I will move on to the mathematical basics. So I may discuss for a week maximum, but you should be very thorough in that aspects. Otherwise, you will not be able to do a very good developments in this area. You will only be able to just pick and place and use. Okay. And other than that, you may not be able to effectively develop the things or do any subsequent higher studies or research or projects in this area. So if you want to do thorough aspects of that, you should also understand the theory, okay, along with the gaining the or learning the programming aspects. On the programming front, anyway, our TS will help you, but nevertheless, you can start a little bit learning on the Python. I request Sumant to start giving some inputs on how the students can start learning onto the programming aspects, especially the Python and the related libraries, NumPy libraries or whatever, to get started on that.
Sure, yes, sir.
Yeah. So I would suggest that once you start and make, it is almost similar to MATLAB, those who know MATLAB. And since anyway, now most of the things are in libraries, so you will be able to do it with not much difficulty, even from other branches. But for other branch students, I alert the mathematical things you should be ready to capture, and you should have good interest in learning. So other caution I give to this course students is that this has evolved previously in the IIT Tirupati itself. Even when I taught for the first time machine learning, there is a mix of electrical and computer science and mechanical students. And this is the first time civil students are opting. However, there was a mix of several branches during that time. Subsequently, deep learning course, which I used to offer as a separate course, also was a mix of both computer science, mechanical, and electrical, with major proportion from electrical and computer science. So what I notice is, unless you are reasonably interested, strong in good interest in mathematics and programming is there, so you may or may not be able to perform quite well. Okay, so in the overall grading. So if you purely think in terms of the grade, I would suggest that this may or may not be a good option for you to credit this course. So you can decide on that. So, but if you are very keen on learning and if you want to wet yourself with the kind of programming assignments, written assignments, and the mini project I give, okay, so you are welcome. And the other point usually in I mentioned in starting of many of the courses and almost all the courses I teach is that even though the course is for 3 credits, I may take more time, more efforts, okay, and expect the same as well from the students. So it may say I may take more than 1 hour if the time permits in some of the classes, or more than 3 hours in a week if that also based on the feasibility, and even the amount of work that is required, like suggested to be done in this course to make an effective learning is reasonably high. So if you are ready for it to learn doing that effectively, I would suggest that it is very good. It will help you a lot in making these concepts clear and getting started onto the almost pace of recent works that are happening or in understanding them. So on that as well, I suggest the students to take a call, because I'm not very afraid or in sense, it is fine for me to have a bigger class, but at the same time, I suggest you people to be ready for it. So unless you are ready for it, I would suggest that you can audit this and you need not credit it. So you can, so that anyway, that option I would give, if you are sincere to audit, that is also fine. But if you wish to credit, be ready to get wet yourself with all the assignments I give, programming and written assignments, and good interest in learning the mathematical basics, programming aspects, okay, and the course content. Okay, and mini project is very much the other important aspect. When you do a course other than in, say, Coursera courses or outside, is what I would say in fact, the main aspect which none of the students have mentioned, but supposed to be highlighted or important point is that you will be doing a mini project and you should do a mini project. So that mini project, which is based on this course content, also on this area overall, will help you greatly to get started onto many other subsequent problems or the subsequent projects of this area. So in fact, I have seen in last couple of years that some of the students who have done mini projects actively have made contributions even during the course time, say this semester time, or at least get started onto the project readily after that. So that I would say, so there are some couple of problems that I will introduce, or projects that I introduce that the students are already doing. So you can get directly involved with those if you are keen, very keen. Okay. If you are not that much keen, and if you are more interested in learning from the basics and you are at the, you want to get started, then there are again a set of problems or projects. Okay. For every, like those students who want to directly get involved in the existing works and projects, there are enough problems with us or projects with us. And similarly with the for the students who have no exposure on machine learning, absolutely no issue. You can get started on some of the important aspects that will help you to learn and do subsequent work well. In fact, I have seen some of the students who learn quite well and like scale up very well after completing the completion of the course. And since there is a mix of students who have done some courses and who have not done, I suggest that you need not worry, or absolutely no worries, because my course content will be slightly different than the existing courses. And the questions usually I ask may also be slightly different, even though there may be some familiarity the students may feel, okay, in some like content of the course, though if they have already done. So this is all the background on the course, like discussion on the course. So I would now suggest like ask you students to quickly ask if you have any clarifications or questions on the course or on the background required for the course. Any questions from the students? Is it clear whatever I have said? Is it did it reach you?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, yes, good. Sir. Okay, good. So let me move on. So anyway, I will start discussing this course from the next class onwards. Okay, but before that, I want to listen from you. So some of you might have already done machine learning. Okay, so some of you might not have done. So let us start with the machine learning. What is machine learning? I just want to know from you. Yeah, any student can tell. What do you think is machine learning? So the students who have not listened to any of the courses are preferred to answer quickly. Otherwise, then the students who have done some course can also convey. What is machine learning? Yeah, tell Pradeep. Hello.
So I'm audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible. Please tell.
So machine learning is a science in which we understand how human intelligence can be incorporated in machines, and they can be utilized to exploit various applications of real world.
Okay. Okay, fine. Good. So any other definitions?
So it can be understood or explained as the data is given to some labels, or it can be some numbers, whatever you want to get from the machine. But first we have to train the machine, like we have to make it learn.
Okay. Okay. So the point mainly you said it was breaking in between, but is that you should mainly train something to make that job done. Train the machine to make that job done. Then it is machine learning, correct?
Yes, sir. That's what I want to say.
Right, right. Okay. So the point that Pradeep has mentioned is the ability of learning. We want to import to the machine, and that is referred to as machine learning. So that's what Pradeep you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any other definitions? Okay. So see, there were some. You said there are many applications in which you can apply machine learning. So can some of you tell what are the typical applications where you can apply this machine learning?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please tell, Vikas.
Sir, we apply machine learning in spam mail detection, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So in spam or non-spam detect classification, you can apply. Okay, or spam detection, you can apply. Okay, move on. Any other applications? Yeah, I would like to hear from you.
Stock market predictions based on the previous data.
Okay,
Like
stock market predictions. Okay,
stock market predictions.
Okay.
Stock market predictions, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Stock market. See, the two applications you mentioned, either stock market prediction or the other application that Vikash mentioned about
classification.
Yeah. What is the application, Vikash, you have mentioned? The spam classification. So both applications.
Classifying.
So what are these kind? Do they involve images? These two applications, do they involve images? I would like to hear from you very quickly the answers. So if they are very trivial questions, you should not take much time. And I prefer that those who didn't answer. Yeah.
Pronunciation.
Okay. I want
autonomous cars.
Yeah. Do they involve images? Yeah, Umesh. Hello.
Image recognition is there.
Spam, non-spam detection. Does it involve images? Image processing?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So, and similarly, the stock market prediction, does it involve image processing?
No, sir.
No,
Only
okay.
machine learning.
So, yeah, fine, good. So, what is image processing then? Why we want to put these two together? So, can one of you define what is image processing?
Like detection of.
Yeah, tell. Who is telling? Please tell your name and just quickly tell.
Saying what are the properties?
What are the?
Sir, I am Harshvardhan.
Yeah, please tell. What's the image
that the image has? Means what are the contrast differences from different points of the image?
Okay. So, so image typically is a two-dimensional array. Yeah, image typically is a two-dimensional array of matrix. If it is seen from the computer, okay, this is the computer eye, you can say. So it sees just a matrix. What we see is a physical scene or the understanding of the physical scene that we capture when we see an image. However, when a camera sees it, what camera sees is each say sensor element of the camera will take a small region in the space, and in that region, what are all the intensities, reflectances, okay, they get averaged at the sensor element, okay, and that average intensity or reflectance is given as a number. That number usually depends upon the bit length of the sensor. So if I take a 8-bit sensor element, then it gives the intensities in the range 0 to 255. Okay. So if I'm looking at this region, it says that this is roughly bright. Okay. So it adds on to and gives a value of 200 maybe here. If I see this region, for example, where there is a chair, for example, okay, it adds on and gives a value close to 0. Okay, 0 or 10. If I see somewhere here, it may give a value close to 125 or something. Okay, like that. So what image is the average of the intensities it looks at, okay, or the average, the field within the field of view of the sensor, the average reflectance is quantified and put as a value referred to as pixel, okay, element. Okay, so it's referred to as pixel or pixel element. Okay, so that value is the measure of the intensity of the scene that the camera captures. And like that, what will happen if there is a, say, 1 megapixel camera, if we say, okay, so the 1 megapixel camera may have 1000 cross 1000 CCD sensor sensors. So it may, each sensor will capture one average reflectance in that region it looks at, okay, and overall the 1000 cross 1000 image get formed, and this is 10 power 6. So 1000 cross 1000 matrix will come, okay. So that is why it is referred to as 1 megapixel camera, okay. So if it is 4 megapixel camera, so roughly you can consider that it may have 2000 cross 2000, okay, sensor elements. So 2000 rows and 2000 columns. Okay, so like that. So because we put them in 2 dimensions, we will be able to measure the scene in 2 dimensions. Okay, reflectance of the objects in the scene in 2 dimensions. Okay, and when the computer see, it just sees it as a matrix ranging from 0 to 255, usually each of the value ranging from 0 to 255. Okay, so that is the image. Fine. So given, hope this is clear, given this background, okay, so we want to know in the a little more details on what image processing does, okay, and what it can do. Well, this is one question. Okay, so to ponder upon in the subsequent class. And the previous discussion all around was on the objective of this course. As I said, it gives a basic foundation to machine learning, as I said.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Some of us have a class at 12.
Yeah,
like
sure.
now it's
we will
running out of time.
Okay, sure. So we conclude the class now. And try to figure out a time where we have a little more in a week where we have next class is free. Okay, you can let that information know to TAs, and during that hour we will little extend. Otherwise, we will wind up the class before like the in an hour. Okay. So what I suggest now is, so the first 3 slides. Okay, I will anyway share the slides. Okay, try to understand little bit more, ponder more on the discussion we had, and look at the slides, first 3 slides. Okay, and then we will follow up the discussions that we had today in the next class. Thank you then. Yeah, BTech students can leave. Those who doesn't have class, and if they quickly want to ask.
Yes, one more thing.
Yeah.
Said, are we going